12 feet down. Imagine you're trapped in a public swimming pool. Sounds kind of fun, right? Wrong. Even though it has the same appeal as being locked into a Christmas warehouse, in the following movie, it is a little different. Mind you that this movie is based on a real story, so before you murder me, please refer to my disclaimer in my pinned comment. And with that said, let's get it on. This is Bree, the sister of a former sugarhead, about to get married and more or less a stable person. She looks good, she has a career going on, and her handsome husband proposed to her just a few weeks ago. Much other than her sister Jonna. As mentioned, she is an addict, and therefore, of course, she's unstable. She just got out of rehab, but it seems like she failed because there was a syringe in her car, and she does what every other addict does, blaming her problems onto other people. With that said, say no to drugs, kids, please, unless they're legal or they're green. Anyway, they meet up at the local swimming hall for a swim. The pool normally closes at 7 p.m, but today it's Friday before the holiday weekend, and so they close much earlier. Our girls didn't expect that, and so they bucked out, hurry out of the water, pack their stuff and leave. But before they can do so, Jonna sees the engagement ring of Bree lying at the ground of the pool. It's pretty remarkable to see that tiny thing on the ground of a pretty deep pool. I mean, I struggle reading stuff on my laptop without eyeballing my girlfriend who sits 180 degrees next to me. But regardless of all of that, Bree tries to recover her ring. That's all good and stuff, but the pool is about to close. Perhaps she should have told the guard first before heading back into the water. The ring is stuck firmly and she can't get it out. Even with the help of her sister, she can't release it. Yeah, well, that could have been avoided by walking 20 meters over and let John know to hold up a second. But let's rewind that, okay? Let's have a look at what happened here. Losing your jewelry in a public pool is something most people can relate to. It just happens to every one of us. And if we're honest, you just shouldn't wear any important or expensive jewelry within such a place. The only thing worse than wearing your giant diamond ring in a public swimming pool is to stuff it into your bag and leave it on a bench nearby. I mean, what? You gotta have a lot of faith in humanity to do that. Not me though, heck, I don't even leave my grocery cart out of sight when shopping. She could have easily just left her expensive stuff in her car. So, our two girls end up being stuck below the fiberglass cover of the pool. That sucks, but they have about half a meter left to breathe, the pool is heated, which is great, and there are various floating lane ropes around as well. That is great because if you're stuck in there for a few days, you are very happy to have something that you can rest on. Now, if you are in this position, then what can you do? Well, first of all, we have to admit that it's already bad to be stuck in a position like that. But the only thing worse than being there is being stuck with an unstable person, which every addict kind of is. Now, before you bash me because you think I'm bashing an addict, I don't. I just think her behavior is unnecessary and makes this whole situation a lot worse. And you really don't want that in this situation, right? I mean, imagine dying and the person next to you just keeps on talking bullshit. No thanks. But for now, let's look at the broader situation. First, it's holiday weekend, right? So it is likely that nobody will come in for the next 3 days. And you better get this into your head. Your only hope therefore is that either a janitor will notice you or the police comes in check-in after someone has made your disappearance public. Since this place was the last place you visited, there is a good chance someone will come and check. These are two realistic options, but none of them require any action on your side. And while it's reassuring to know that you may be rescued by a third force, you should still try to find a way out of there yourself. Anything else would be a waste of your time. The first thing they do, which I think is a great idea, is checking the fiberglass cover and see if there is a way to break out of there. Now, knowing fiberglass is quite elastic and given the water you don't really have a ground to push yourself up from, it doesn't look like that could actually work. But if you want to give it a chance, your best shot will be near the center of the cover. What you could try is releasing all but one of those lane ropes. Put them side by side and see if the buoyance force is strong enough to carry you. If so, try to lay on it and press against the fiberglass with your feet while the other person stabilizes the raft. You may be able to build up enough force to break through. If not, then well, at least you have tried. And since you have left one rope aside, you still have one to rest on during your time down there, which is important because I believe removing those from their fixture is difficult, but putting them back on probably even harder if not impossible to begin with. Now, our girls don't do any of that and look for an alternative. Bree has the brilliant idea to remove the filter frame on the ground of the pool and use it to break through the fiberglass. That's a pretty smart idea, not gonna lie. Yet they don't commit to it because, well, Jonna's opinion seems to matter, which is a bad thing. Because, you see, the main issue that I have with her is her negativity. The main problem of an addict is the lack of responsibility. And so being stuck with an irresponsible person means that you are pretty much on your own. So to conserve my energy, I wouldn't even bother communicating my plans to the other person. I would just do whatever the hell I want to do without her in my mind. Because if you invite the opinion of a negative person, you literally invite negativity into your brain. And in this situation, this is more than just bad.
We need to check all the sales and edges. Maybe there's a weak spot somewhere.
I agree with Bree here. I would circle the pool and check if I can find anything that can be useful. Is anything that I wear useful? Any jewelry? Any ropes attached to your swimsuit? In this environment, everything not fixed becomes valuable. And often coming up with a plan is easier when you know what you have at your disposal. The ring on the ground would be the first one that I would recover, and here is why. We can see those screws holding the fiber plates together all over the place. There are around 10 screws per each fiber plate. If you can just find one of those screws being loose enough to screw it off, I am pretty sure you will be able to push up one of these tiles. And considering there are around 75 plates making up the whole cover, there are around 700 screws you could try your luck on. Well, that's great because first of all you have something to do while you're down there, and statistically speaking it's a very promising strategy. And the ring could possibly be used as a tool to unscrew the screws. But for now, let's screw all of that and let's see what's happening next in the movie. Well, this is Diana. She is the lovely janitor of this place. She is an ex-convict, but we don't judge people's pasts here, right? We only judge people based on their present. Well, she just got fired a few hours ago. I haven't shown you, but she tried to steal 20 bucks from a lost and found purse. Yeah, that was a dumb move, sister. But not just that, but she's also on parole. She really didn't think that through. Now, considering she's an ex-con, she definitely has some issues, right? So, I guess we can conclude that as an ex-convict, she is probably an outcast in society. She is probably emotionally unstable as well, plus she's definitely lacking any sort of authority. Well, until now. And that is the point, right? Underdogs are suckers for positions of power, and power in the hands of crooks becomes abusive very quickly. I mean, just look at politics. So Diana ends up blackmailing the two girls with the phone she has found in Bree's purse. Now, before we turn the tables, there is one minor thing I haven't mentioned yet. Bree is diabetic, and she is desperately in need for her shot. If she doesn't get one soon, she will run the risk of passing into a coma, and in this situation, we can assume that that will kill her. I am telling you this because there is a clear hierarchy of priorities here. The first one is getting Bree to have her insulin shot, and only second is to get out of there. Hear me out on this. If we consider the worst possible case here, which is they aren't able to escape the pool before the weekend is over, then not much would happen. It would certainly not kill them. It would suck and it is certainly dangerous, but pool water isn't that toxic, so you can safely drink that for what it's worth. You see, surviving without water is possible for about 3 days, but having so much water available, you can easily survive much longer. In fact, they would have no problem surviving as long as necessary until the pool opens its doors again. And with the lane ropes available, you could even put together a raft to sleep on. I'm telling you this because, well, have a look.
I have your phone and it's blinking. Looks like it needs a password.
What do you do in this situation? Give her the pin and in return ask for being released, or tell her to f*** off? Well, if you had to choose between both, you should pick number 2. Because there is rarely anything good coming from being blackmailed. And that is the point here. Why would she release you when you could just report her afterwards? She can't take that risk. She is on parole. Now I get that you don't know that, but it doesn't change anything. If you get blackmailed into giving something of value to someone explicitly for being freed, then you would certainly report that person afterwards, right? So unless the person who blackmails you is a complete idiot, there is no way that you will be released. And knowing that gives you an edge, so hear me out. First of all, I would give her my phone or whatever she asks for only in return of my insulin shot, because my first priority is to survive. And second, the person blackmailing me has no disadvantage in passing me the syringe, right? Once I got it, I would continue as follows. Diana obviously looks out for material gain. She seems to be in a bad situation, so I would sympathize with her first. I mean, I haven't bought Chris Voss' negotiation class, but the 1 billion times I have seen that YouTube ad was enough for me to be prepared. I would let her know that I understand her circumstance and that we both could benefit from this situation. I would make sure to be sincere about it. Any fake tone in my voice and we are done. The goal of a blackmailer is to get as much as she can while not being at a disadvantage. Since your biggest threat is not to be freed, her biggest threat lies in being caught by the police. So I would try to lure out the good person within her. Telling her how lucky I am to have her around, I would let her know that without her I would have died and that she is a hero. Saying stuff like that either works or it doesn't. If it doesn't, that means that she is probably not into it because of an emotional reward, but solely in it for the cash. And if that's the case, then I would have to decide. Do I want to give this cheeky bastard what she wants, or will I just shut down and just stay within the pool until it opens its doors again? Well, the choice is up to you. But whatever you do, and I will tell you what I would do, you cannot do what our girls do.
Go! Get down!
What the hell? That's like the worst thing you can do. And it serves no purpose other than agitating your punisher. And unless you are okay with being killed, then this is a bad idea. Especially when you aren't the only person in this position. That's just selfish, Jesus. Jonna must have thought, oh, the situation can't get worse. Well, I don't know where she's from, but man, I don't think there is any situation that can't get worse. And as we can see, the next move from Diana is turning off the heat and turning on fresh chlorine flow. Yep, not only are you stuck in a public pool, but now you're also freezing your ass off while slowly being intoxicated by a poisonous gas. Great, thanks Jonna. At this point, not just is it more uncomfortable to be in there, but you will also not survive until Tuesday unless Diana frees you. And that is bad, because I don't think she likes you anymore. You are in deep trouble, my friend, and you have failed every chance you got, and you kept making things worse. I mean, you need a talent for that. At this point, your future is in the hands of an ex-convict that you have stabbed 5 minutes ago. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you have made the wrong decisions more than just once. Plus, in my opinion, the worst thing is, Bree still has not received her medicine yet. The girls just didn't negotiate well. They have just viewed themselves as the victim without concluding that they too have the power. It didn't seem like it, but I assure you that is the case. There were multiple chances our girls had. At the very least, they should have not agitated Diana. That way, they would have remained in a heated pool until the holidays came to an end. And with having cash on bank accounts, having phones and other valuables at hand, they could have easily negotiated a deal for getting Bree's medicine, especially when saying the following sentence. Look Diana, just turn up the heat and pass me my medicine. And when you're at it, please get us some food as well. Then take my car and everything that's inside and get the hell out of the country. We survive and you have the time to escape. I mean, think about it. If you were Diana, and one of the girls would have told you to give you her car in return of the insulin in her purse, would you have done it? Of course you would have. The trade-off would be completely in your favor. That's a no-brainer. Because if I were the blackmailer and I had the car of my victim, I would jump in there and get myself to Mexico faster than you can call me gringo. That's for sure. But for some reason, the girls didn't think that far. So, what would have you done in this situation? How would have you managed to get out of there? Let me know your strategy. Oh, and by the way, the movie ended in a happy end. Diana ultimately didn't kill anyone. She just desperately needed some money to solve her own struggles, which I guess we can understand. Granted though, her way to get there was a bit questionable, but eventually she came around, so that's a good thing. In the end, she freed them, Bree got her shot, and everyone survived. There you go. Thanks for watching as always. Peace.